First, before I get into this, shout out to Yellow Flash 2 for this image right here. And yeah, this is pretty much Will Smith right now. Everybody knows about the decision of the Oscars, which quite honestly might end up being a blessing in disguise because maybe Will Smith will go out of the limelight and get himself together. And I kept thinking about this, and I actually got into a little bit of an argument with a couple people in Club Atlantis. One of the members was like, "Look, Will Smith is a grown man. You can't blame Jada for none of this," which I partially agree, but I'm like, nah, Jada is a cause of a lot of this. But I do agree with him in the sense that ultimately it's on Will as well as Jada because Will chooses to stay with a woman that clearly does not love him or probably never loved him, or if she did, it's obvious she doesn't love him now. Now, there's a reason I got a picture of myself and one of my other Club Atlantis members, Regina KF, aka Nature Girl 30, who I did a couple of videos with over WrestleMania weekend. We spent some time together during that weekend, off camera. Went to my folks' house, my mom and her husband, who we live in the same town, but I don't get to visit them that much. We visit them. We went to a couple of places that sometimes I like to go to relax my mind. And then we went to this place that you see pictured here with the rail yard. By the time the weekend was done, I thought to myself, because I had to bring her back to Salisbury, North Carolina, so she could get her stuff and check out of her hotel room and get on back to South Carolina. But by the time that weekend was done, I was like, please, God, let me get with a woman. Either her or someone like her. Because I never felt so much joy and peace as I did that weekend. And let me also say, this is the type of woman, if I was to get married, this is the type of woman I would want to get married. I mean, the fact that she happens to be black like me, I ain't gonna lie, is a bonus. But at the end of the day, it don't matter what color she is or what race she is. She could be Asian. She could be white. And I would have felt the same way. And at one time, I guess I feel so personally about the Will Smith situation because at one time, without the multi-million-dollar career and everything, at one time I was Will Smith on a lot of levels. Maybe not as far as the money or the visibility or the fame, but at one time I was a Will Smith. Chasing after women that I tried to treat with respect, tried to be a gentleman and everything, but they didn't love me like that. Or they didn't love me at all. And I guess that's why in a lot of ways I feel so personally about this, because I have dealt with women like Jada Pinkett Smith, who again, weren't famous or anything like that, but they had a lot of the same narcissistic characteristics. And I guess that's why I find the situation sad, heartbreaking, and infuriating all at once. Because I've been where Will Smith has been. And I'm sure many men that are looking at this, not just black men, just men in general, have probably been where Will has been concerning a woman. Taking up for a woman and defending a woman that don't love you. Because if a woman really loved you, she wouldn't want you doing that. She would be like, hey, baby, I appreciate you defending me, but don't do that. We'll handle it another way. Or something. I mean, And let me tell you, I had a woman that once, and this was back in my 20s, and I will never do this again as long as I live. She had her sisters all summer long, babysitting her younger sisters. She had me drive up to New York City from Bluefield, West Virginia. And at the time I had a Chevrolet Cavalier, and she knew what I drove. I didn't get no thank you or appreciate. I was like, you should have got another car. Or even when I drove back down, she knew I was tired, but she wanted to basically screw. And when I couldn't, let's say, perform or nothing, she berated me, said, you need some pills, this, that. When I was tired. And then when she knew I needed to get back to work by Sunday morning, she knew what time I said I had to get up. She said, no, I ain't ready to get up yet. Now, considering that her family was down, by the way, and I do believe a lot of it was because I was from West Virginia. She thought she could talk down to me, and she was from big New York. Never mind. She was actually from Greenville, North Carolina. Thank you very much. And that's where we was. Just putting that out there. I put that out. Irvin of Now probably, well, first of all, Irvin of Now would have never done that. And if Irvin of Now would have done that, Irvin of Now would have been like, well, you better call your family to get you back to New York then. I'd have packed up my stuff, got my car, and left her down in Greenville. But then she would also say stuff like, you better be glad this bottle is plastic and not glass. Basically, more or less threatening that. Keep in mind, this woman was half my size. Barely half my size. But she was basically making little veiled threats and everything. Just because. So, long story short, I ended up getting back to New York later than I wanted. Then I had to haul ass back to West Virginia, ended up showing up work late. Luckily, I had built up, even by that point, and this was like 2003, even by that point, I had built up such a good rep with them, thankfully. They kind of cut me some slack on that. But after that, I never fooled with her again. Because I was like, this woman going to end up costing me my job. And I was still making a car payment at the time. And I was living with my folks trying to get out of their house. This woman going to end up costing me my job. And I guess this is why I feel so personal about the Will Jada thing. Because I know what it's like to deal with a woman like this. I know what it's like. An unappreciative, ungrateful little woman. And I'm trying to refrain from, because I don't want to go on another cuss fest. But I'm really being honest. I'm really trying to refrain. But, she says stuff like, I never wanted to get married, which should have been Will's first clue to get out. Back when she was pregnant with Jaden, their son, and she even said she never wanted a wedding. She didn't want to get married to Will in the first place. That should have been his first clue years ago. And then she does stuff like Willow writing letters to Tupac. Tupac been dead since 1996. I mean, all kinds of crap about, I wish you'd come back so me and mommy could be happy, which I have no doubt Jada's manipulating some of that. Basically humiliating and emasculating this guy that you done had two kids with. He done built up an empire that you got to be a part of. He actually planted 3 years for your 40th birthday, studying your career and everything, and you made it say, oh, it's about your ego. When there's women out there that would have killed for even half that kind of attention. That would have kissed the ground he walked on. And no, I don't I don't say, oh, Jada's not to blame. Oh, the hell she ain't. But I will say at the end of the day, it's on Will because the signs are there. And I can go on all day about the signs. The signs were there. And I guess I can relate because the signs were there for me. Unlike Will Smith, I read those signs and basically said this.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks, don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please.
And that was back when I was a full-fledged simp. That was back in my 20s. That was back when I was a full-fledged simp. Of course, that picture was recently, but that was back when I was a full-fledged simp. But I had enough sense to read the signs and be like, nope. Nah, forget this. But back to present day. If I could say something to Will Smith personally, I'd be like, look, you can do what you want to. You a grown man. You do what you want to. But nothing's going to get easier or happier for you until you make some changes. And I don't mean what you did with Chris Rock. I mean, make some real changes. Stand up for yourself. If you haven't stood up for yourself and Jada refuses to respect you, bruh, I'm the last one to recommend divorce because I'm a child of divorce. But let me tell you something. Sometimes you have to do what you got to do. And if he still refuses to do that, well, brother, that's on him. As much as I would love to blame 100% of everything on this whole situation on Jada Pinkett Smith, which I do blame a lot of it on her, I can't blame it all on her. If you don't respect yourself enough to understand that this is a toxic situation, not that, oh, people picking on me. Oh, I'm going to stand up for myself because I'm a jackass that thinks my ass don't stink and the whole world should bow down to me. No, I ain't talking about fools like that. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm talking about people who don't think of themselves enough just for basic respect. Not this, oh, I'm better than everybody else. No, we ain't talking about that. That's not respect. That's narcissism. That's not self-respect. That's narcissism. People confuse the two. But that's a whole nother discussion. But if Will chooses to stay in it, then I can't feel that sorry for him. But it's infuriating to watch this because I've been where he's been. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.